Jamie and Ryan with you. A tradition since 1970, the Gatornationals are back in Gainesville this week.
Yeah, the drag races began Thursday and they continue through tomorrow. Cars reach speeds of well over 300 miles an hour, and the raw power of these machines famous for rattling the bones of spectators at the top of the grandstands.
But how does it feel to be behind the wheel of one of these things? Funny car driver Buddy Hull stopped into the station this week to talk with me about it. Buddy, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me. We love being in Florida.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you here. You know, I know the Gatornationals are such a big deal for Gainesville and Central Florida. It's got to be a big deal for you racers, too.
It's a huge deal, you know, very historic. Gainesville Raceway opened 1970, so we're 50-some years deep in here, and it's one of the coolest races of the year. How can you not be excited, you know, about starting off the season in Gainesville, Florida at the Gators? It's just fantastic.
These vehicles get to 100 miles an hour like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're talking, you know, 12,000 horsepower, you know. The fastest accelerating vehicles on the planet, we go from 0 to 100 miles an hour in 60 feet.
That's
so
insane.
from a dead stop, 60 feet later, we're running 100 miles an hour, which is, if you've never seen that before, you're missing out.
Yeah, you know, so Buddy, in my mind, I was just like, okay, for drag racing, since the races are short, you know, 3 to 4 seconds, 3 seconds, yeah. I figured you just put the foot to the floor and then you're off. But there's way more that goes into it.
Well, it's just that simple. Are you going to come out and try it this weekend?
Heck, I'm not getting behind.
No, you're not going to do it.
Oh, no way.
We wish it was that simple. You know, there's a lot that goes to it. You know, everything from the preparation at the shop to, you know, bringing the cars to the track. And these crews work so hard to make sure that every little thing is perfect on these race cars. I mean, we're dealing with cars that obviously make 12,000 horsepower, like I mentioned, that a human being is piloting, right? So everything's got to be perfect. And, you know, when you stab the gas, you know, it appears if you're sitting in the stands or on TV that they're going straight, that they don't go straight. The best way I can describe it, if you've ever driven on an icy road and you put the pedal to the floor, that's about what it's like. You never stop moving the steering wheel.
What's the adrenaline rush like?
It's incredible, you know. When my first full run in a nitro car, I got out, the crew came down there, and the first words out of my mouth were, I wish everyone on the planet could feel that just one time. Yep.
But there's more than just adrenaline. You were telling me off camera about how much thinking is involved in those seconds.
Yeah. Yes, thinking, preparation, you know, focus is what I'll say. You know, when you get into that car, you strap yourself in, you know, they put the starter on it and they start that thing up, you better be focused, right? All of it comes to that point. You don't want to disappoint your crew. You don't want to disappoint your crew chief, right? They've worked so hard to get that car ready to go to the starting line. So it's your job. As soon as that thing's running, it's your job to make sure it goes down the track. So it's a big deal.
What are you like behind the wheel? Like at the starting line before it goes off? You know, do you have any butterflies, or are you just
no? So super calm. You know, everyone has their thing. I actually fall asleep sitting in the cars. As uncomfortable as it may be, it's very comforting for me to be in there. I always feel very much at home, and people make fun of me because I fall asleep. People walk by and they'll tap me and wake me up. So, but everyone has a different approach. You know, some guys get very wound up and, you know, they kind of move around a little bit in the car, but I don't. I actually just really chill out. I replay the run through my head over and over and over again. So that way when it's time, you know, I'm fully prepared.
Your background is extremely interesting.
Yeah, thank
because you were very competitive, but you competed in something else, weightlifting.
Yeah.
So how does a professional weightlifter get into drag racing?
Well, that's a great question. So I'm actually a third-generation drag racer, and from a very young age, up until my mid-20s, I was a competitive powerlifter. And when I retired from competitive powerlifting, I immediately had to find something to be competitive in. And I knew it wasn't going to be pool or darts or water polo or anything like that. So, you know, obviously the obvious choice was drag racing. And so at that time, I purchased the fastest thing I could afford at that time, which was a fuel altered, and started my career in that. That's how it all started.
What's it like to win?
Oh, I don't know if there's a better feeling in the world. There's so much work that goes into winning a drag race, and there's a little bit of luck that goes into winning a drag race. There's no other feeling like it. You know, I've won a lot, and every time you win, it still feels the same as when you won the first time. It's really the coolest thing in the world. You
know, at Gatornationals, there's a lot of different styles of car. You're in the funny car.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Well, Nitro Funny Car is the most extreme car on the racetrack. You know, they're the hardest to drive. They're the most extreme. You know, they're the ones that when they blow up, the body goes flying. And when they're on fire, the driver's in there, you know, dodging flames and all that cool stuff. So I think it's the coolest thing in the world. You know, I really don't have a fear, but I sure respect it, but I don't fear it. And so that's how I drive my race car.
So it kind of fits your personality because it seems like you love challenging yourself. Is that why you went into the funny car?
Yeah, I do. You know, to me, my personality is a funny car. You know, I feel like I fit in that car very well. I've driven many other types of cars over the years. In the last 3.5 years, I drove NHRA Top Fuel. And when the Duns asked me to switch over to a funny car, it was just the obvious choice. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity that Jim Dunn and his family has given me as well.
Yeah, talk about your team, the people behind you.
Best team in the world, you know? Best team in the world. Jim Dunn's been nitro racing for over 70-some years. So I would say that, you know, he's a legend in his own right. And to be able to drive for him is a true privilege. If you tune in and you watch on TV, you'll see Jim out there with his hands on the car while he's running the starting line with his walker. And to me, that's the most inspiring thing in the world. There's nothing more inspiring.
What's the camaraderie like among you guys in NHRA?
Family.
Is it?
So everybody out there is family. You know, I would say that we're the one motorsport that truly has a family-like atmosphere more than any other. You know, I've never participated in any, but I've been to many, and I've helped on other types of motorsports, helped with the cars. And no one helps each other more than NHRA teams. It's pretty amazing. But our team's the best, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And speaking of family, your family's grown.
Yeah.
You know, you recently got married. You got a little one on the way?
What a blessing. Yeah, I got a little one on the way. Little boy. Future
awesome.
drag racer. And at least we hope he is. You know, we can't force anybody anything, but you better believe there will be junior dragster there in the garage for him.
I mean, how inspiring will that be when your son comes along?
Are you kidding me? Incredible. I mean, that's my dream.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is. Final question, what kind of show do you want to put on this weekend with the Gatornationals for the fans? What kind of experience?
The best show. You know, I always say NHRA Drag Racing is the best show on the planet. Every ticket you buy is a pit pass, right? It's not NASCAR, it's not IndyCar, it's not Formula One. It is a pit pass, every ticket. So, you know, come out to the track and you'll see what kind of show it's going to be. And most importantly, I think that when you look at it on TV, it just doesn't do it justice. So just know that when you show up and you watch these Top Fuel and these Fuel Funny cars go down the track, that you could experience something that's similar to what you would feel in a mild earthquake. It's really like that.
That is awesome. Buddy, we're going to be rooting for you in Gainesville and throughout the season. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Buddy Hull was so much fun to talk to.
Tons of energy.
Yeah, I mean, his energy, his enthusiasm was certainly infectious, and I learned a lot. The Gatornationals are going to crown winners tomorrow. Races, though, start in the morning. They pretty much go all day. Semifinals are in the afternoon, followed by the finals at 4:25 again at Gainesville Raceway.
After the whistle has to take another timeout, but we will be right back.